Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. And I want to welcome you today in our webinar, one of the last webinars of this season. And before we jump into the subject of the webinar, I would like to go over some housekeeping rules and Zoom etiquette. So first of all, please introduce yourself in the chat. We really want to know where are you coming from, what are you searching to learn, and we want to know, to get to know you better. Okay, so please use Q&A for questions. As I speak, hopefully you will have some questions. Don't wait to the end. Start to put them into the Q&A, not into the chat. Okay, and then at the end, we're going to answer. I will do my best to answer all of the questions. Okay, and this webinar is going to be recorded. So if you want to go back to the material, or you didn't understand something, or you want to share it with your friends, your colleagues, your peers, the recording is going to be sent to you shortly after the webinar, and you are more than welcome to share it with your peers. We actually strongly encourage you to do it. Okay, so before we jump into it, right, I would like to speak a little about Stu Clark Centre for Entrepreneurship. We are located in Asper School of Business, but we are serving every university student, staff, and faculty. And our mission is to ignite entrepreneurial spirit within every University of Manitoba student. And my personal goal is to make sure that entrepreneurship is a viable career path for you. So you will know that it's available for you. And we are trying to achieve our mission in a couple of different ways. And I will mention two of them today. So you are part of this webinar today. So it's all about entrepreneurship. We are working hard on this series. We are bringing top-notch professionals and subject matter experts for you. And we want to hear more from you, right? We want to hear from you. Who do you want in these webinars? Shortly, we're going to start working on our next season. And that is the best time for you to find out what or to tell us what it is that you want to learn. Okay, so use this QR code, use your phone right now, scan it, and you can give us a feedback, and we will build on this feedback. And trust me, we want to learn more about what you want to hear from us. Okay, so another way we can support our entrepreneurial students is our Startup Coach program. It is a free resource available for every student. And it is an easy way to start with your entrepreneurial journey. All you need is book one-on-one meeting with me through our Startup Tree platform, and you will have some information about how to do it in the chat right now. And I can pick you up on any stage of your entrepreneurial journey. If you have an idea and you don't know how to validate it, please come and see me. If you have an idea and you validated it, but you are not sure about it and what the next steps are going to be, come and see me. And if you don't have an idea, but you are curious about entrepreneurship, definitely come and see me. We can work and find out the connection between your passion and the current gap in the market, and we will continue from there. And before we start, I want to mention two things that are very, very important to me personally. First of all, this weekend, starting tonight, we have Ramp Up Weekend organized by North Forge. It is an amazing opportunity for you to experience what true entrepreneurship is and this rush of startup. I'm speaking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. So it's happening tonight, and then this entire weekend, over 50 hours. It is your opportunity to win 10K in cash prizes and experience entrepreneurship. You don't have to have an idea. You come in and you can join somebody else's team to win it. And it's going to work you through ideation stage, business creation, business model, MVP, and pitch competition at the end. So if you don't have time over the weekend, at least come and see the pitch competitions at the end. Trust me, it will make you hungry to try and to do it yourself too. And another thing I wanted to mention, our new venture championship is coming. So it is too late to participate actively in it. It is too late to participate as a volunteer in it, but you can participate in the and watch our finals. The finals are going to happen on the Sunday, the 27th, right? Top 4 undergrad, top 4 grad level students are going to compete for over $60,000 in cash prices. And trust me, you want to see it. This year we have 22 universities, Harvard, Berkeley, Rice. No, we don't have Rice. We have big universities coming in, 22 universities, and University of Manitoba as well. We're going to cheer for our teams, of course. So all you need to do is RSVP today, and you will be in, and you will be amazed to see how big and how impactful an idea that a student like you can bring in, and how great it can be. So if they can do it, you can do it. Okay, so let's jump right into the subject of today's presentation. And today we're going to speak about funding. We are going to speak about funding, and the purpose of today's webinar is not to give you, exact tools or action items for your venture if you have one, because if you have a venture that is running, I'd rather ask you to come and see me, and we will have like a more tailored conversation for your case. So the purpose of today's webinar is going to get you an overview of this fundraising journey and what comes first, what comes next. I will give you a couple of obstacles. I will give you why and how you're going to do it. So people in the audience that are not really familiar with the fundraising and how exactly does it work will get a better understanding. And then you will know that you need to seek for more specific information for this stage or the other stage, and you will be more equipped for these conversations, okay? So generally speaking, right, we are going to cover today stages from the bootstrapping, when you put your own money or your family, your friends' money into it through angel investment and through venture capital. We're not going to expand on each one of them too much. Again, my goal today is to give you like an overview of the fundraising game and to explain to you what are the ins and outs, so you will know what you need to learn more and what are your gaps in education, okay? So let's go and start with, why do we need to master the fundraising game, right? Why do we need it at all? So funds are a bloodstream of your, and again, money is a bloodstream of your venture, of your business, right? So it helps you to run, it helps you to grow. In many cases, businesses will have enough cash flow, enough money that they are generating to keep them running on the same level, right? But what if you want to scale up your operations? So imagine you are starting your business, right? And you are saying, okay, well, that's my new venture. It doesn't matter if it is a product or a service, if it is a software or it is a hardware, it doesn't matter. Like, you are starting with something small. You are starting to experiment and check out if it is working or not. You've built your first MVP. You are testing it out. Your customers are loving it, right? The customers are loving it, and you're thinking, okay, well, now it's time to scale up my game. Okay, so how do you do it? Scaling up usually will require funds. It will require money. You will need to build, if it is a product-based venture, like, you will need to have your, maybe bigger facility. Maybe you will need to invest in more equipment, or you are going to invest in more training and more labor in place. All of this will require additional funding, and nothing is cheap these days, right? So you have two options. You can try and fund it yourself, right? Which is oftentimes is not feasible because you just don't have that kind of money, or you go and you try to fund it. So one of the options is going to be just to go to the bank and ask for the loan. But if you don't like this option, the fundraising game is for you. So one of the reasons you want to do it is if you want to scale your operations, right? You started small, it works well. Now you want to make it even bigger, and you need a specific money for specific needs, and we will elaborate on it going forward. Okay, so you want to enter new markets. That is another way, another reason why you will need some funds, right? So you've developed your solution that is solving a problem, is solving a global problem, maybe, right? But you are solving it right now in our local market, right? People in other markets, they don't know about you, right? So once again, marketing is not cheap. Penetrating a new market will require a lot of a lot of work, right? Maybe you will need to work on regulations. Maybe you will need to work on legal stuff, right? Maybe you will need to adjust your solution into this new market, right? So all of this requires additional money that you will need to take out of your business and out of your operations, right? And it needs to come from somewhere. Once again, putting the lending money from banks aside, fundraising is a great opportunity for you to do that. Okay, so if you want to expand and you want to get into new markets, that is another reason why you want to master the fundraising game. Okay, and lastly, if you want to enhance your offering, that is kind of coming together with our like new markets opportunities, right? But you know what, imagine this, right? So I will give you like a very, very simple example of a bakery, right? You start your small bakery, right? Maybe it is a home operations and you start with one product. Okay, and now you want to scale up. People love your stuff, right? So you say, okay, well, I want to scale up my operations. I want to rent a place, buy bigger equipment, increase my offering, right? And that's what you do. And you start to build and not to build, to bake this particular bread that everyone loves. Okay, and then you are looking on the enhancement of your offering. You're saying, you know what, like maybe I want to give and offer something, and maybe I want to step into croissants, maybe I want to step into specialty breads and stuff like that, right? So if you think about it, all of this experimentation costs money, right? Because you need to allocate resources from your main operations to create a new offering, and you need to test it. And then if it is not working, right, so it's kind of like an expense, right? So you need to find money how you can do it. So one of the ways how businesses and ventures out there are increasing their offering is actually by raising some money from people that believe in them, in their businesses and ventures, and in the new products. And you can do it on a safe way. So you are risking your time and you're risking your work, but you are distributing the financial risk between yourself and people that will give you the money. Okay, and that's pretty much what you do. You are diversifying and reducing your own risks. Okay, and it allows you to do more stuff, right? Because if you think about it, if everything takes a ton of risk, nobody's going to take the risk, right? And we are going to be stagnant. So fundraising allows you to overcome this fear of risks and reduce it a little bit so you can move forward and you can move further. Okay, so when should you start? Okay, it's a good question. And once in a while, our students are coming with this question to us. And the answer is always, it depends. And we need to understand how ready you are for fundraising. Okay, it is very, very important, and it is very, very critical, because the last thing that you want is to go out and speak to people about a need in funding, right? And not having a good explanation why you need it and why you need it now. Okay, you are not speaking and you are not fundraising money for some future projects. You are doing it for your need today and tomorrow. So when you need one thing that you need to understand is you need to understand your readiness, how ready you are to move forward when money comes in. In other words, is the money the only thing that prevents you from moving forward? Okay, so if the answer is no, that's not the only thing. Maybe it's too early for you to move and ask for the money, and you need to get your ducks in a row before that. Okay, so recognizing your readiness is absolutely critical and important. And once again, you can use this question, like, is the money the only thing that's preventing me from moving into my next step, right? What else should I do to get ready? And then you plan ahead, you put it all together, and this way, when you go out and you search for money, it makes it easy for both parties. Okay, it makes it easy for both parties. So avoid early fundraising errors, right? So that is another thing that happens all the time, and it's kind of going back to your readiness for fundraising. Okay, people are rushing into fundraising without any plan, and it makes it's really like cute when a startup comes in and they're asking us questions about venture capital, right? And they don't have an MVP, they don't have proper customer validation, and it is very very early stage, right? So, and they think about these stages in the fundraising game, and like the question is why, like you are not there yet, so don't worry about it right now, worry about things that need to happen today. So rushing into the fundraising without a plan is a big problem, right? So have a plan that you are going to present to your investors, and you will say, okay, well, listen, that's what I'm planning to do, that's how I'm planning to do it, that's why I need money, and that's why I need that much money and in this particular sequence, right? You are building the case, you are showing, first of all, you are showing other side that you are dead serious about it and you have a plan, and the money that you're going to get is not going to disappear, right? Because oftentimes that's what will happen, people are getting excited, they're getting these loans, they're getting this this money from other people and organizations, and then nothing is happening. And trust me, like if you will fix errors and you will go back for the money, it's going to be harder for the second time because you've messed it up in the first place. So avoid going into the fundraising without a plan, and we're going to touch on the plan a little later. Failing to research and target the right investors, that is another big issue that we've seen once in a while, right? Is because think about it this way: you as a creator of something, like you are solving a problem, you are passionate about it enough to risk your time and money and start this venture, right? We are falling into our own confirmation bias, and we're thinking, okay, if we love it, everyone else will, right? And what will happen, you will burn a lot of energy pitching this idea to wrong people, right? So if your solution is solving like a energy problem, right? You are not going to pitch this idea to investors that are focusing on biotechnology or software solutions, right? Because that's not their area of expertise. That's not necessarily something that they really care about, and it will not resonate with them, right? So when you start planning for your fundraising process, you need to really understand who are the people or what kind of investors are going to be interested in investing in your kind of business. And creating this match ahead of time is absolutely critical because it will prevent you from pitching your ideas and wasting your and their time on something that ahead of time could be identified as something that is not going to align and work. So when you are planning and we're starting with thinking about fundraising, right? One of the things that you need to find out is who is going to be your target audience, who are going to be, what kind of investors are going to be interested in investing in your kind of business, and you need to understand how and why, and we will go over the pitch down the road in this presentation today, but it will help you a lot. Okay, and finally, another thing that you can do as an early fundraiser, and you can avoid it actually, is neglecting to do the due diligence. Okay, think about it this way: if I have an idea and I'm coming to you and I'm saying, okay, listen, you know what, like that's my idea. I want to give you. I want you to help me out. I want some of your funds into my project, right? You will have a lot of questions, and you will ask these questions, and I need to do a good job to answer them before you give me any money, right? You will not give it just for because. If you think about it, investors, people that are in this field, many people are coming their way for the money. I truly believe that we have more money available out there than good ideas. But saying that, it's always hard for investors to identify a good idea and differentiate between the good and the bad one. Okay. And it's your obligation, it is on your shoulders to do all of the due diligence and to understand what kind of questions they're going to ask, right? And what kind of issues they're going to bring, and get ready ahead of time. Okay, so your due diligence is going to go over like all of the possible questions, all of the possible obstacles, and everything that will come into the fundraising process in between you and the other party, and be ready and prepared, right? You want to be ready and prepared for anything that is happening with your venture, but in this particular case, it can shoot you in the leg, it can delay or even kill the process, because nobody has time for back and forth, right? We're working on fast-pacing environments most of the time. So when we speak about when and how should you start with, right? Keep in mind that you don't want to rush into fundraising game, right? Especially without a plan. You want to make sure that you are pitching or you are working and matching your offering to the right investors, and you are using the right lingo, and you are hitting the right pain points for them, okay, and they are aligned with what you are offering. And finally, make sure that you are going to do a good due diligence, right? And once again, coming back to your general readiness, right? Is money the only thing that prevents you from moving into the next step? Because the investors are going to ask the same question, right? If they find out that you could do some other stuff but you didn't, now it reflects on them like, okay, how much are you going to do if they're going to give you the money, right? A question mark. So make sure that you are covering all of these points. Create a plan. Okay, so I spoke about it already. So you need to create a plan. You need to make sure that you have some realistic fundraising goals. Okay, so if you think about it logically, right, when you're coming in to somebody and you're asking for money, right, they will want to know, why do you need the money, how the money is going to be spent, how much money you need, right, and why do you need that much money in this stage. So when you are getting into a fundraising game, you need to really work off your roadmap, right? So your roadmap will show the points and milestones, when and how much money is going to be needed, and what results this money is going to create, right? So the realistic fundraising goals are exactly about your results that you are going to create with this funding. Okay, so you need to start with the goals first, and you are working off your business plan, you are working off your roadmap, and you are working off your milestones. It is very, very important, right? And also be realistic with the amount of money that you're going to ask for, right? Don't ask for a fortune when you just need a couple of dollars, and vice versa, right? So be realistic and be very, very relevant to your business. Okay. Next point is identify potential investors. Okay. So now when you know how much money, when, why you need, and you know how much result you're going to create using this fund, now you can work on searching for potential investors, and there are a number of different ways to do it. Once again, you can come and see us. We have some connections in this field. We know people that will have connections in this field. There are plenty of organizations out there that are connecting between ideas and money. So it's all a matter of starting your due diligence and starting your discovery process. Okay. So, but one of the things that you need to include is going to be identifying the investors, if it is venture capital or angel investors, or even for bootstrapping, when you are coming to your family and your friends, right? Not every family member is a good target audience for you, and not every friend is a good target audience for you, right? So you need to identify, you need to know why exactly you are going to go to these specific people slash organizations, and you need to match your approach to each one of them individually. So it's not a cookie cut process. You are really speaking to real people, and you adjust your conversation. It's not a script that you are reading off time after time. Okay, so the next step is going to be to identify potential investors, and then you are starting to work on your fundraising timeline. Okay, and what it means is just as it is, right? You need to have a detailed explanation and for the entire process. Okay, when you are going to start it, how many investors, when, and what kind of presentations you are going to have, right? What are your time frames when you pitch into to investor and they are interested in it, right? How much time they have to think about it, right? Why they have that much time, and what are the due dates? What are the deadlines that you're trying to meet? So you want to be ready with all of this ahead of time. So when you get into the conversation, you can pull it out, and trust me, it will save a ton of miscommunication, a ton of time when everything is upfront, everyone understands it. And if you think about it, once again, if you are in front of an investor and they are interested and they ask about it, and you pull a document out and to put it on the table, it just shows how serious you are about it and just shows how much effort you put into it and gives more confidence in your ability to actually do what your intent to do with the money, right? Because that is very important. We don't want to give money to anything. We want to make sure that the funds and the capital that is going into something creates the result that we wanted it to create. Okay, so and that is the planning stages. So you have three stages, of course. Each one of them can be broken down into further um, sub stages and sub steps, but generally speaking, these are the three main phases. And one master tip in here is allow flexibility. Okay, so things are not happening exactly as we planned usually, so create a flexibility in your plan. Make sure that you have room to stretch it out a little bit in different stages. It will help you to mitigate issues when things are taking longer than you expected them to be. Okay, so after that, right, you need to craft your pitch. Okay, I guess I can speak about this particular one forever, or maybe for at least a couple of hours easily, but I already spoke about it like a few minutes earlier. It's not a cookie cutter process, right? You are matching your pitch to a specific audience that you're speaking to, right? And you will always you never come in and say, okay, well, I'm searching for $500,000, and nobody cares, right? Nobody really cares. So all you need to, like, what do I think you need to do and what other people are thinking. Start with a compelling problem, right? So sell them the problem that you are solving. Make sure that it is resonating with them as they feel and can relate to the pain point out there that you are getting to solve, right? Show them how big the problem is. And only then you can jump into your solution and show them what is the solution, how it is going to work, and finally go to your call to action saying, okay, well, that's why I need all of these funds. That's how it is going to work and propel me to go forward. And you move back into your problem saying to solve this problem. Okay, so if we're speaking about elements, you are going to speak about problem. You have to mention the problem that you are solving, right? The significance of the problem that you're solving. How big of a problem is it? How much market potential it? How many people are experiencing this problem? What is an impact of this problem on society and the environment? And only then you go into your solution, and then you go into your business plan, and then you go into call to action, because you always want to have a call to action at the end. Otherwise, they will need to make assumptions and guesswork. Okay, so once again, I can speak forever about elements of compelling pitch, and we do have a recording about pitching a business idea that I invite you to watch after this webinar. But these are the elements of the compelling pitch. You need to understand your audience, right? Like, and I will not be tired to repeat it over and over again, right? Understand who you're speaking to, right? Use their language, use their understanding of the problem, use their wishes, like, their visions in your pitches, right? So you want to be very aligned with them. Otherwise, it will not connect. So understanding your audience is an absolutely critical stage in crafting your pitch. And I'll give you an example. When we work with our teams that we're sending out into pitch competitions, or we're working with teams that are competing in our pitches, right? I always tell them, go out and search and learn who are the judges. Okay, go out, check out their LinkedIn accounts, see what they're all about, what kind of education they have, what kind of work experience they have, what they post, who are these people. You will be able to be more relatable and speak directly to them instead of just being like pretty much like myself right now. I don't have a connection back from you, and I don't know who is my audience right now. I can only assume it, right? But if I had a chance to go over my list and to make sure that I get a little better understanding who you are, my webinar today would be so much better, right? And you can understand it. So know your audience, right? And that is very important. Do as much as possible, and goes back to your due diligence, right? So some tips for confident delivery, right? So the best advice I can give you is practice, practice, and practice, and then practice even more. Okay, so uh, try to make sure that it doesn't sound as something that you've memorized and you just run through it, mindlessly. So make it your own. Create like a presentation deck that is going to highlight what you are going to tell, and don't overload your deck and your slides, and speak about it. Be own your own material, right? Make sure that you understand what you're speaking, why you're speaking. Practice it. Record yourself on the video. Put your phone outside. Record yourself. Watch it again. See what is working, what is not working, and repeat the process over and over and over again. It will save you a lot of time down the road, and your presentations, your pitches are going to be so much more compelling, and getting a confidence that you know your stuff, right? Maintain eye contact, right? Maintain eye contact. Use open body language, right? Try to be relaxed. I know it is hard to say. I'm not a great pitcher myself, and a ton of areas for improvement. But from the side, you can always see it, right? So the more you practice, the more familiar you are with your own material, the easier it is going to be for you to be more natural with it. So once again, practice, maintain eye contact, positive body language, and prepare for questions, right? It is your possibility when you pitch the idea. It is your opportunity to seed some of the questions and get ready for them, right? Or foresee questions that they're going to ask and prepare a killer answer for it. So when they ask it, you give it back to them and they're like, wow, they know what they're talking about, right? So that is very important. So now I'm going to go over like a little about different funding sources and pros and cons of each one of them. Once again, my point is not to give you like a very like in-depth understanding of each one of them, but so you will know what are the pros and cons, and you will know like where to go and how much more information you need to find. Okay, so we're going to start with bootstrapping. Okay, so bootstrapping uses your personal savings, your friends, your family, right? Or something that you are generating from your own company. And it gives you like the highest level of control because you are in control of the money, right? Like, and you decide what comes in, what comes out. So you are your own investor pretty much, or people that are close to you. Okay. So generally speaking, like if we are like in comparison, it's going to be pretty low funding amount potentially that you can get. And as a result, it's going to have a low impact on your business. Okay, but that is natural. Like there is always a trade-off, right? But in majority of the cases, unless you are not looking into something that is, biotech that requires like a lot of money from the get going just to get started, right? In many cases, bootstrapping can work with smaller business ideas, smaller ventures. A lot of software solutions, as an example, I see these days they can effectively use bootstrapping, and it works for them for a short period of time, but it gets them running, right? And investors will ask how much of your own money have you put into the business. And if the answer is zero, the confidence is not going to be as high as you've put your effort and your money into it. Okay, so angel investment is going to be your next stage. And generally speaking, these are the people that are taking the higher risk, right? They are taking the higher risk to put money into your business, and as a trade-off, the payoff for them is going to be probably higher as well, right? So it gives you like a medium control level, because at this point they want you to do your thing, right? They are not going to require to make changes, like major changes into operations, into policies and stuff like that. They are interested in your idea. They believe in your idea as much as you believe in it, and they prove it by giving you some money. So control level is medium because they still have a say, right, about what and how you're going to do. Potential funding amount is going to be somewhat in the middle. It's going to be obviously not as high as venture capital, but it's also not going to be as low as bootstrapping, right? And impact on the business is, once again, the impact on the business is going to be also medium, because it is like a good balance at this stage. Okay, so next one, we're going to look into the venture capital. That is where heavy artillery comes in, right? So that stage of the game, you're getting like people that are going to be more involved in your business. That is going to be an organization that is doing that for a while now. They know what they are doing. They will require you to look into your operations. They will have a say about your policies and what and how you do in your business, right? So that's what like, and why the control level is low in here, because they know they have the process. It is a heavy machine. You are getting into a big game, right? And the control level is going to be lower out of these three in comparison. Once again, right? Potential funding amount is going to be very high, because that's kind of like, how you're getting majority of the money down the road, right, with your ventures. And the impact in the business is going to be also very, very high. Now, I wanted to mention something about angel investment, right? Even though they have like less to say about your business, right, if you wish, right? But I will strongly recommend to search for investors that are going to serve as mentors and coaches as well in your business, because they know stuff and now they have a vested interest to help you out, right? So when you are looking on the angel investors, you are looking for somebody that not only gives you money, but ideally is going to provide you more value in terms of mentorship and this kind of help. Connection to their professional networks is very important, because usually they will know more people that are very beneficial for your business than yourself know. And same comes to the venture capital as well, right? When you are looking and you are looking on VC organizations, you want to have an organization that is going to be very familiar with your industry, and you will want somebody that knows their stuff. Okay, so something that I haven't touched in at the very beginning, but as one of the funding sources, we cannot skip the government grants, right? Government, like, there is a lot of money available out there from different organizations and different conditions. And the problem is that in many cases, this money is not very visible. So you really need to go out and search for it in order to get some exposure and to get some money. But you have a very high control level over it, because generally speaking, like, if you are checking all of the boxes for them, they will give you the money, but you maintain a full control. That's your business. You do whatever you need to do. Potential funding amount can be substantial. Some grants out there like are giving you a lot of money, and depending on how much money you're going to get, it can give like a higher or lower impact on your business. But crowdfunding is another option that you can use, right? And Kickstarter, getting, once again, funding, raising funds through your community and stuff like that. it's a very broad kind of funding opportunity. It can be as big as you want it to be or as small as you want it to be, and that's why like the control level, potential funding amounts, and impacts are all over the place in here. And finally, uh, revenue-based financing, that is pretty much when a combination. It can be a combination of the funding from investors when you're getting some money and you're getting it based on your revenue, and then you're going to share portion of your profits down the road. Okay, so but these are the general funding sources. There are more out there. There is always a combination in between these different ones. Once again, the purpose of this webinar is to give you an overview of what is out there so you will know what you want to learn more, right? And not to go into details for each one of them. So common challenges. Okay, so common challenges, uh, you will see that I'm listing them on the left, and then I will have some mitigation on the right. So identifying the right investors, right? So once again, that is a big problem. And many people will burn a lot of energy on wrong investors, blaming everyone, but them not finding the right one. So you need to do the research. You need to understand and find out who is aligned with your venture and who you can ask. Prolonged negotiations. Once again, if you don't have a specific plan and you don't have due dates, you don't have deadlines, right? It is going to go back and forth, back and forth. And once again, it will just move everything forward to unknown. And that is something that, a common pitfall. You can mitigate it by setting up a clear communication with your party in front of you, and setting up expectations, showing why you expect it to happen in this time frame, and etc. Managing investor expectations. Once again, you want to be very clear on why, how much, when you want, and what kind of result you're going to get with this money. And the better of the job you do explaining that, the less unmet expectations you are going to have. So it's going back to the planning stage. Okay. We already spent some time on the due diligence. Once again, maintain transparency, right? So you are coming to investors, you are asking for money. They have the right to understand what is going on, and they have the right to understand and ask questions. So make sure that you are doing preparation work and put it all together so it's going to be easier for them to understand. There are not some, but a lot complexity in equity distributions, because if you are looking on investors, they will oftentimes want some equity in the game, right? And it creates an extra, like a layer of complexity when it comes to how you are doing it, what kind of percentages, and ins and outs. And I'm not going to get into it right now, but just make sure that it's not as easy as it sounds like. Oh, you give me like that much money, I give you this percentage. It's way more complex than that. Okay, so before you do any decision making, make sure that you dive deeper into it. Okay, and you know what? Aligning with investors' interests is very important, right? So once again, it's coming back to the investors' expectations, right? You want to be transparent. You want to make sure that they know exactly what you want to achieve by using this fund, right? And they want to be like, you want them to be in agreement with it. Okay, so you will avoid a lot of back and forth and a lot of frustration if you're going to be on top of everything. And that was pretty much it for me. I'm pretty good with my time, and let's open up let's open it up for the questions, and give me a moment to bring it up and see if we have questions. Okay, so I have the chat open, and give me one moment. Where's okay? Here's the Q&A, and we have one question here. How can I learn more about not sticking to the script and actually base my answer around the questions in real time? Well, the answer is simple but not easy. Practice, practice, and practice. Okay, so if you know your stuff, right, you understand what you're talking about. You are not relying on text on your deck behind you, right on the slide behind you, it will allow you to be more fluent with it, and you will be able to add variations into your speech, to stop, to pause, to maybe answer a question or something like that, right? And then if they ask a question, sometimes we are blanking out, right? So be ready and prepared for you to blank out, right? And how you can get prepared for it, you can say, like, prepare and practice, something like that. That is an amazing question. At this point, like, I'm blanking out, I don't have an answer for you, but let me come back to you, and I will make sure that I will answer it as best as I can going forward, right? This way you show them that you are a human, and they will understand it, right? It will allow you to look better, and not just standing over there and kind of trying to figure out, or worst case, trying to make up an answer that is not going to be the best, right? Which can create a negative effect. And last point is, actually, if you think about it, when you pitch your idea in front of investors, right, they're not going to give you money right away. They are going to have more questions, more due diligence to do. By doing and by saying, what, it's a great question, I have an answer, I just don't have the best one for you right now, let me come back to you, you're opening up a door to come to them later and remind about yourself one more time. So you give yourself a chance to continue the conversation. So that's a win-win tactic. So if you don't know, just be honest and say you don't. But ahead of time, practice, practice, practice. This way, people will not get you off guard with common questions. Okay, so I hope it answers. So how to find, another question, how to find and get into contact those ventures or investors. For example, Winnipeg. Would they be interested in investing in a small business like a local print shop? Well, it depends. Okay, and that's exactly when I said that we will need to speak about details on one-on-one basis, but maybe your idea for a local print shop is going to be so unique, or so, like, clear for people, they will give you the money, right? At the end of the day, like, investors are not going to donate you the money. They want to give you something that they will get back, and they will get some return on this investment, right? So if you present them with a great business plan, you have everything set it up, and you foresee and mitigate all of the future risks, right? I don't see any reason why people will not give you the money. Where to find them? Well, Winnipeg is not New York, unfortunately, right? So we will not have that much of a network. But you know what? Like, if you want to dive more into the entrepreneurial and business community, start networking. So start networking ahead of time. Join networking groups. Go to business meetings. You will see people that oftentimes other business people may invest in something that you want to start. So my best answer is going to be, get your plan ready to present, and then network and meet other people. They will give you a lot of information, and of course, come and see us. So we'll be able to support you in finding the right people. So once again, I hope this answers. Okay, let's see. So we have these two questions. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to chat, because even though we asked about the Q&A, some questions are in the chat. So the question is, how can I learn more about not sticking? Oh, that is exactly the same one. So, okay. Thank you, Marisa, for mentioning that it needs to be in the Q&A. Are these strategies general for no matter which kind of business, or it changes considerably according to specific type of a business? Such a great question. Okay, so two-part answer. So everything I've mentioned in this presentation today is very, very general in nature and applicable to every venture in there, right? The changes and differences are going to happen when you will have more specifics about your industry and about your venture, and that's where the details are going to go to accumulate, and you will need to make some differences. But the sequence probably is going to be similar, right? You are not going to go to IPO before you have some bootstrapping to create your MVP, right? Or to have some kind of money to scale your business to a certain level that allows go into IPO, right? So that's kind of like a sequence is going to be give or take the same. I hope this answers. Okay, so do I need to be connected to UM to come to your center? I do not study or work at UM at the moment. Okay, so that is the tricky question. So our mission and our goal is to work with University of Manitoba students as our first and primary target audience. But we are not only limiting our operations on this audience, we expanded to faculty and staff. And then when we have time, we work with alumni. And then we will have time, we work with people in our local community. So, you know what, like, I will not ignore your email if you send it to me. And yeah, if I can support you in any way, I will definitely do. So once again, being an entrepreneur is trying things, right, and taking action. So shoot me an email, and we'll see how does it work. Like I hope this answers. So if we don't have more questions, do we? Nope, I don't see any questions. Once again, I wanted to remind you, Ramp Up Weekend is happening now. So if you're in the audience right now and you are curious about entrepreneurship, which you probably are because you are in here today, I strongly recommend you to participate in the event fully as participant. If you don't have time and it's too short of a notice, as minimum, come and see the final pitches on Sunday night. It will blow your mind. And you have a little more time to get ready for New Venture Championship finals. So get ready, and we will be happy to see you in the audience. Come and speak to us. Say, hey, we saw your webinar and stuff like that. That's what we've learned and stuff like that, right? And we will continue from there. So we do our work for you, and we want you to succeed. So come and talk to us. So thank you so much for your time today, and enjoy the rest of the week and the coming weekend. Hope we are going to have a good weather.